Welcome back to Radical and Relevant. Today's gospel, Jesus chooses the 12. And I want you to think about how powerful that moment would have been. And I want you to think about the moment where you felt chosen by God, where you felt most chosen by God. And if you haven't had a powerful experience like that, I want you to ask God to give you a moment of really feeling and believing that you are chosen. The reading today is from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verses 12 through 19. In these days, Jesus went out into the hills to pray, and all night he continued in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called his disciples and chose from them 12, whom he named apostles: Simon, whom he named Peter, and Andrew his brother, and James and John, and Philip and Bartholomew, and Matthew and Thomas, and James, the son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, and Judas, the son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor. And he came down with them and stood on a level place with a great crowd of his disciples and a great multitude of people from all Judea and Jerusalem and the sea coast of Tyre and Sidon, who came to hear him and to be healed of their diseases. And those who were troubled with unclean spirits were cured. And all the crowd sought to touch him, for power came forth from him and healed them all. What is it that jumps out at you today? So we've got Jesus, we've got three scenes. We've got Jesus going up into the hills and praying all night. And then we've got him coming down and choosing the 12 apostles. And then we've got him teaching and healing. Is there a word or phrase or an idea that jumps out at you today? The last phrase is very, very powerful, the last half sentence. For power came forth from him. Power came forth from him. And it still does. And we need to remember that. And we need to access that power. We need to put ourselves constantly in scenarios where we have access to his power. If we read around the phrase, what does it say? It says, and all the crowd sought to touch him, for power came forth from him and healed them all. Power came forth from him and healed them all. Not power came forth from him and healed some of them. Not power came forth from him and healed half of them or most of them. Power came forth from him and healed them all. And so what sort of healing do you and I need? I need healing. I need healing in lots of ways. And I think being mindful of that is powerful unto itself. But then putting ourselves in a scenario where Jesus can actually heal us is also important. There were people this day, we're reading about here, there were people this day, they needed healing. They're on the other side of town. Maybe they couldn't be bothered. Maybe they couldn't be bothered going to see Jesus. Maybe they had their doubts. Maybe they didn't really believe that Jesus could heal them, so they didn't want to make, the long journey all the way to the other side of town to see this itinerant preacher who people said could heal people, but maybe they were doubters, maybe they didn't believe. Let's not be those people. Let's not be the person on the other side of town who doesn't make the effort to go and be in the presence of Jesus' power for power came forth from him and healed them all. Let us give him opportunities to heal us. Have a great day, and remember, be bold, be Catholic.